Good afternoon, everybody. Well, it's Monday again. Where are these days going? I'd like to say it's sun shining, but I can't really see from where I am at the minute. It's a little bit drab, but doesn't matter because I'm really excited about this one because it's where we start introducing a little bit of colour. So I hope you've got your colours at the ready. Now, of course, we're on sort of emergency kits and things, so don't worry if you've not got loads of colours. I'm going to keep it as basic as I possibly can, and we're just going to stick with a few, so no problem at all. Having said that, if you've got loads of colours, then by all means, get them out and let's start using them. That's what they're there for. So, okay, so where we're going to start then? All right, with your name and the date. Hi, Stephanie, Julie, Bernadette. Oh, we all the gang's here. Julie, hi. Is Caitlin watching as well? Hope so. Maddie. Okay, have you put your dates, your name, tile, number 7? Gosh, we're over halfway now. So here we go. Deep breath. All right, so we're going to just relax a little bit now. If you can hear a bit of a humming in the background, please don't worry about it. I've had to be running a machine this morning just to get a few bits and pieces out, but we'll not worry about that. It'll disappear soon enough. Here we go then. Okay, I'm going to create 4 dots. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. All right, down we go, and we're going to join them again. Nice and lightly with the pencil. At the moment it's just a guide and it's just there to make you sort of give you an idea of where you're working to. It can be changed, you can move it a bit later, you can go back over it in pen if you want to. It really doesn't matter, but for now we're just going to do it in pencil. There we go. All right. Hi from Scotland. Gosh, all over the place, aren't we? It's lovely, this. Okay, here we go then. Straight in with pen. So you might want to just sort of watch this before you do this next step, just so you can see where I'm going to be working from. It's going to go in a little bit larger. What I'm going to do is a little bit of a bubble there. All right, I've defined that quite seriously, haven't I? Now, I'm not trying to make a perfect square here, actually just the opposite. I want 4 dots or bubbles or orbs or pebbles. It's not necessarily in the centre. Hi there. Leslie Evans from Belton. That rings a bell. Guess where I am too, although not in the same place. Can I just say actually thank you to Leslie for lending me her pencils? Because I forgot to bring mine this morning. But that's all good. We're all sorted now. And they're all nice and sharp and everything. Fine. Anyway, here we go. So what I'm going to do then, with my pen again, I'm going to make this larger now. You can see where I'm going with this. As I'm going to go from one of my little bubbles to the other, working around and down, creating that lovely little S shape. Then I'm going to turn around, and then from here, down, around. Hi Linda, your parcel's just ready to go in the post, I think. I think my husband's going to nip out with it in a little while. There we go. Turn it around, and same again. Okay, so I've got that lovely little asking. Now, some of you might recognise this pattern. We might have done it before. Some of us know it as a border, or if you've got the set 1 flower, it's done as a circular border as well. But we're going to do something a bit different with it today. Okay, so far so good? All right then, we'll go a little bit larger. Okay, so working on the same 4, I'm going to follow it round again, but then I'm going to come in. So I've made it a little bit fatter. I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to do the same again. Okay. I might do that one here while I'm here. Bring it in. turn it round. Bring it in. Okay, let's go out with that little bit. Okay. So let's go in a little bit larger. Right, so looking at these spaces that we've created here, I'm going to do, I think I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to create again something a little bit familiar to us, a pattern that we did last week. I'm going to make that one a little bit thicker and then put a line either side. Now you notice there that I started sort of in the centre. It's a good habit to get into. It just sort of gives you the balance, and you can see where you're working from either side from there. There we go, look. Alright. Work there. Same again here. So I've made a wide band there. See that I put a little bit of a curve in there. And then I'm putting a thin line either side. Same again there. And I can just sneak one in there. Okay. Oh, Bridget, oh, that's really nice. I've been looking forward to this one because it is the first one that we're going to put some colour onto. And as much as I do like the traditional sticking with black and white, I really do like putting colour in. So I'm excited to see what's going to come out of this. And thank you everybody, those that have sent me pictures of your tiles. I'd like to do is put them all together in a mosaic. If you're not sure sort of what that is, when we do classes, we all do a tile and put them together to make one big picture and take a photograph of it. It looks amazing. And I'm just thinking, I know we're all virtual here from all areas. If you send me your pictures of your tiles, if you do a flat on, like we're seeing here, then I can put them all together in one huge mosaic. That would be absolutely fantastic, I think. So there we go. So that's where we're at so far. Okay. I'm not going to do anything in the middle because I'm going to come back and put some colour on that in a short while. But I think it's important now that we just work on our patterns as we're going, because I don't want us to sort of lose our way here. Alright then, back to these 4 dots here. So I'm going to go round it again, and I'm going to come out this time, back in there. I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to come out, back in. Then I'm going to turn it, and go out and back in. You see, it's quite a wide sort of space there, isn't it? But that's fine. Go out and back in. That's what we want. Okay. Hi there. Okay, so now working on one of these shapes, I'm going to create a triangle shape. There we go. And if you want to curve it slightly, that's absolutely fine, but I think I'm just going to put that for now. Okay. So working with this first one here, you see where my triangle sort of comes down here? I'm going to aura this line. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, Joyce. There's so much to get through. So don't worry, I know the pace sometimes it can be a little bit quick, but you can watch it back a little bit later, so don't panic about it. Just watch and enjoy. There we go. Same there. And the same there. Okay. So now I've got these triangles, and I'm going to follow this line. So there we go, pouring all the way down, filling up those spaces as we go. And that one I'm going to fill in there like that. There we go. Okay, moving on to the next one. So again now I'm going to come in with that triangle shape. There we go, I'll keep that one there. I'm following this line here. Hi Diane. And let's just put in those lines there, and then this one, and then this one. You can see I'm just following that first line. I'm being guided by the lines that I drew first with that zigzag shape, and then maintaining that. So that's a little bit wide. Let's sneak another one in. Okay, same here. There we go. And fill in that space. Next one. Coming out with that zigzag again. Okay, and following this line here. Sneak that one in, and there, and turning it round on that one. Some people prefer doing the structured tangles and like grids and lines, where others you find like to do the more organic, you know, where we're creating curves in different shapes. But I quite like mixing them together because I think it gives it a little bit more of an interest to it. I think if we did everything and it was all just grid, it might look a little bit too rigid. So adding a little bit around the outside sometimes just sort of gives it that little bit of lift it needs. So here I'm going to be, you know, mixing and matching different things. Then you can pick which bits you like, and if you think, well, actually I'm going to do a different pattern, that's absolutely fine. You can choose to do your own patterns or take it your own way. Okay, how do you keep the shapes even? Do you know what I think? The more you worry about it, the more they don't look the same. I think if you just go with it and think, well, okay, if this one's bigger than this one, then that's just how it's meant to be at that time. And I think that the more you start to do it, the more that you start to get into the flow, and that kind of sort of gets you going there, and that's when they look similar. Hi, Sean. So you can see here that this one is bigger than this one. That one isn't really. That's more egg-shaped, but that's absolutely fine. Just don't let that bit sort of get you down. Just go with it at the time, and it'll all work itself out. All right. As I've said before, we have our own characteristics with these, and it comes out in the pictures that we create. So don't panic at all. Okay, I've gone a little bit larger because you can see I'm going to do the same sort of shape, but I'm doing quite a thin one around the edge there. Okay, so you compare that to that, how thin it is. Okay, and I'm following around again, and then another thin one there. There we go. And on this one. Oh, Carol, I hope your dream catcher comes today. I have been in all weekend packing, and Hermes came in earlier this morning, and every single packet or order has gone out. So if it's not with you today because it went Friday, it'll be with you in the next couple of days. They've all gone, except the order that came in about 20 minutes ago, which is for the States. So that shouldn't affect some of you here, so that's all right. Okay. Oh, it's all right, Sheila, no worries at all. Okay, so we've got this going on at the minute. All right, just breaking from this pattern for a while, but I'm going to stick with these bubbles, and I'm going to create a shape round, see, and coming off this way, right to the end of my tile. So I've gone well over my border there. Same again. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go that way. All right. Okay. Turning it round then. Now from this bubble, I'm going to come round. I don't know if you see, I sort of use that as a little bit of a takeoff, so it sort of dictates where it's going. It's not necessarily me thinking where am I going to put it. I'm going wherever it feels. Right. Okay. Same on this one. Now again, you don't have to keep these sort of uniform in width. I think I'm not planning that. I think it's just the nature of when I'm drawing it, it's going that way. So what I'm going to do is split them in half. Alright, and then that one. And turning it round. And that one. And turning it round. And that one. Okay. Oh, Janet, I'm excited. It's coming. Alright, next bit then. So we've got quite a thin, coming back to this one here. I'm now going to come round. You see I can sort of follow this as a bit of a guide now. I'm going to make something that's a little bit wider. Can't quite get it into that S, but I don't mind this change in shape here. Same again. Round and in. Turn it round. Same, you see now I'm following that shape as a guide. And in. Turn it round. Round. And in. Okay. Like with those curves, it sort of gives it a bit of movement, doesn't it? There we go. So working on this section then, let's go in with, and again I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to create a bit of a curve, and then let's repeat it going all the way around. There we go. Turn it around a little bit. There we go. All the way. And then these little gaps, let's just go in and just fill in those little sections. Okay, this black's going to add to that little bit of drama later when we add some of this colour in. So there we go. Fill that bit. Let's do that as well. Alright. So I'm going to do the same here. And again, I notice that I start in the middle. I think it just gives you an idea of where you're going, and it gives you a chance to do a full swoop rather than trying to sort of start one in the end. At least then you're getting them all similar. There we go. Colour that in again. Just work your way around a little bit at a time. Okay. Oh, hi Sue. Oh, new to it. Oh, you're going to love it. Honestly, the first thing that people do when they get their first tile or they want to try it, they're like, oh, I'm not so sure. Just go for it. Don't worry about going in with pencil first. Just, just follow it through and just let it do what it's going to do. Don't worry about the end result. The whole point of this is that we look at the process, and each little pen stroke at a time. The end result's going to be beautiful no matter what. Oh, Tracy. Well, you know what? Watch it. Just relax with that a little bit, and then, re-watch it in a little bit, and then you can stop and start it where you need to. I do realise sometimes that my pace can be a little bit quick, but I don't have an audience to sort of gauge it from. I've got so much to get through with this one that I've had to pick it up just a little bit. But we are creating that same shape, that same pattern as we go. I'm just filling them in with different ones as need be. I might even go in, look, and there you are, a little line in with a little dot there. There we go. Just fills in that space. As well, I'm turning my tile as I go. Just sort of make life a little bit easy for myself. I don't want to be stressing over whether I can get the line straight or not, or whatever it might be. I just want to relax and enjoy it. That's nice. I like how they get bigger as they sort of come in the the middle there. Quite like adding little bits into the space. Okay, last one. And just repeating that pattern all the way around. There we go. Alright, let's have a quick look at that. Okay, so far so good. So, working on to the next bit. There we go. So again, I'm going to follow the shape round, and I'm going to do a slightly thinner shape, same curve, but just a little bit thinner. You see I'm actually breaking it up in between patterns. Plenty of opportunity for colours later, I think. And in there, turning my tile into this one, turning my tile and into this one. Okay. So far so good. Alright. So I'm going to do another quite a bit wider this time. Turning my tile. It's a bit wider. Turn it round. It's a bit wider. Turn it round. Oh, Grace, wait till you put the colour on. And turn it round. Okay. So with this one, I'm going to start. Let's go a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing. Again, in the middle there, I'm going to put this orb type shape. So you're nowhere near a circle. But let's then work our way around. So we're filling in that space till we can't get in any more. And the same this way. There we go. Get a sneaky one in there. And these little spaces, instead of just colouring this time, let's go in and add in some more little bubbles. There we go, as far as you can get. So let's look at that from a distance then. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry, so am I going a bit fast? Shall I slow down a little bit? Okay. Let's sort of take it down a pace then. I say it's difficult to gauge pace because there's nobody in front of me, so I can't see what you're all doing or where you're all up to. So here we go. Let's slow down a little bit. There we go. So I'm just filling in the gaps with those little orbs, bubbles, or whatever you want to call them. Oh, Emma, that's nice. New Zealand. I hope she's okay. What a distance. There we go. Just goes to show, actually, doesn't it? How we're all sort of widely spread out these days. You know, all move and do different things. It's nice, really. But when something like, you know, what's happening at the moment, it brings it back, doesn't it? That friends and family are so far away. Well, they're always in our thoughts, they're always with us. Okay, so I'm working on my last one here. So filling in that space, these little bubbles, and then round the other side. There we go. And then just fill in the gap with that bubble. There we go. Each one, just working my way around. Alright, let's have a look at that then. So here we go so far. So we've apart from those bubbles being that, we've actually created the same shape each time. It's just starting to look a little bit different because we're going from the same bubble here and we're working our way out. So they're sort of changing as they go up, aren't they? So just the same as we were doing before, I'm now going to split it and put a nice thin one on the edge there, turning it round. Again, a nice thin one here, and then this one. Turning it round, and then a thin one there. Okay, it's nice how it's working out, isn't it, this? So far so good. So our last one of these, I'm going to go quite wide and then back in, turn it round, quite wide and back in. This would make quite nice butterfly wings, wouldn't it? It's amazing how something sort of kicks off an idea. Turning it round, back in. Okay. Alright, so we've got this so far. Alright, working then on, we're going to leave this one here, we're going to work on this one. And again, I'm going to sort of start middle-ish, and you might just want to watch this just for a second or two. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. 3 little lines. Turn it round, and then I'm going to do the same this way. 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to do this one here, and on the top. Now, if you find that you're doing 1, 2, 3, and you think, oh, I've not quite got to the end, well, why don't you do the end, the first, the last, and then the middle one? Works. I think we do, Julia. We're all sort of being a bit more appreciative about things, aren't we? Certainly managing with stuff. And I know we looked in the fridge last night, thought, right, what we're mixing together, let's see what we can make up, and it's quite creative actually. It's all about just sort of changing the way you think a little bit, isn't it? Won't be like this forever. Okay, we can see what I'm sort of doing here. You might want to go either side and then in the middle. Just keep turning it as you go. So that one I'm not quite going to get a full one. So if I did that one, and then in the middle. Then that one, and in the middle. Oh, nearly missed me. That one, in the middle. Get one in there, Luke, as well. Turn it round. You see it's forming its own little pattern now, just with lines, which is a direct contrast from the little bubbles we did a minute ago. There we go. Working my way around there, turning it as I go, and just filling in with those lines. You notice that they're not really touching each other. I mean, if they did, that would be a different Sanntangle Tile. But for now, we're just going to keep them where they go out a bit. Here we go. Filling these in. And that one there. So again, depending on how confident you feel, you can go 1, 2, 3, or you can go 1, 3, 2. Try counting that as you're trying to talk. That'd be interesting. There you go. See a sneaky one there, look. Just keep filling it in as you go. There we go. So that is sort of how it's looking. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same in each of those end sections there. So we start with that 3, if you remember. Turn it round, and then there we go. So here, you can do that to get them in straight if you want to. But you can see sometimes why we don't use a ruler when we're doing these patterns. Could you imagine getting your ruler out and doing this? It'd take you forever. But I think there's something about the fact that they're not all the same that gives it that little bit of character that I always talk about. Just makes it look a little bit alive, I think. If it was too structured with a ruler, then it doesn't always look hands done, and that's what we're after. We're after that approach that we're just enjoying what we're doing. It doesn't matter what the end result looks like, it's going to look lovely whatever you do. Even if you think you've made a mess of it, it's still got bits or elements that you think, well, do you know what, I quite like that bit. You know, if you find that and you've got part of a tile that you really love because you think, oh, I love that bit, cut it out, and either stick it onto another or add it to your journal page. There's nothing saying you can't do something a bit smaller. So, take that little bit of something and don't totally, throw the whole thing away. Just, just look for something in there that you find, well, actually, go on, I like that bit, however small it may be, and use it. Sometimes as well, I actually keep hold of tiles that I'm not happy with, because you will have them. I'll think, do you know what, I don't quite like that. I don't know what it is about it, but there's something. And when I have that moment, I'll leave it to one side for a while. And then I might come back to it, I don't know, maybe a week, maybe a month later even, and think, do you know what, I'm going to do something else over the top of it. Or we all got die cuts and things that we can use these days, and you just think, well, I'm going to die cut that out and see what that looks like. Or, try it with something else, or even make a little tag out of it or something. Don't ever sort of get rid of them totally. There's always something you can do, I'm sure, with it. Sometimes you come back to it as well and you think, well, do you know what, I've learnt a lot since then. I'm now going to add this to it, or I'm going to add more shade, or even, I don't know, maybe a thicker pen and draw right over the top of it all and then see what comes of it. That could be interesting. So there's many options, many things you could do. Okay. Well, hi Lee. Yes, there is a lot going on in it. I'm trying to get a lot of different patterns in, but none so much that they're going to detract from the final thing. We can see where it's going so far. Okay, so I've got one more here. There we go. See, look at this. This is not a perfect curve, look. And I could go in and think, do you know what? I'm going to neaten that up, but no, I'm going to leave it exactly as it is, because that's how it was drawn. Oh, something about focusing on lines just as you're going. There we go. A little bit at a time. There we go. It's nice and gradual. It just builds before you know it. There we go. Now look. A few in there. A few in there. Not too far off now. Just keep with the lines, just following it through, filling in that space, turning as you go. There's one there. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy, there's quite a lot of turning in this one, isn't there? There we go. There we are. Okay, so working it through then. So far so good. Alright. I am now going to put in this border, but where I've come out over it, I'm going to ignore those lines there. It's turn my tile as I'm going. So that one's going over, but that's okay. It's nice and gradual. Turning as I go. Got a bit of a wonky there. Again, that's fine. It's obviously meant to happen. There we go. And in we go. Too bad at all. Here we go then. So, the space here. Again, this is a pattern that we've done before, and it's nice to sort of bring them back and try different ways of doing them. You can go bigger, you can go smaller. I'm just gonna fill in all the space using these lovely little spiral shapes. Okay. So those little gaps that you think, oh, can't do anything with that. I'm going to colour them in, or you could put little balls, little orbs in there, little bubbles, whatever you want to call them. So it sort of makes up your version of the tile. It's absolutely fine. See, that light's going underneath that one. I'm going to colour that bit in. Little one here, look, and it's going underneath each time. Little bits. There we go. It's amazing how when you start with a simple shape or a simple line, how it can suddenly start to look really complex. So I appreciate if you've just sort of got here and stopped to have a look, welcome. But please don't think, oh my word, I can never do this. Just watch it back afterwards. And you'll see every step we did in order to make this. And give it a go. There we go. Alright, so there we go. Alright. Oh, Sean, really? I'm not sounding so surprised there, sorry. But no, it's interesting actually, because some people, it depends on the different types of things. Some are like the leaves that we were doing, or the shape with the hexagon that we did. Some people have loved that one, and the heart. There's so many, but to sort of have a favourite's quite nice. But it gives me a bit of an indication about your character. But I'll not divulge that. Keep up to that for later. There we are, look. So I'm going to put another one in there. Tiny little ones here. Or I can just keep going. Nice and gradual. Put one on the end. Sneak one in there, look. I want to put a little bit of that black in, but I don't want to fill the whole thing in. I want to see lots of these little swirls. Might even have to make a little bit up there just to sort of give it a bit of balance. There we go. Alright. Not really get much of one in there. Let's fill a bit in. Then a little bit here. Right. A little bit here. Fill this bit in. Tend in there. Missed a little bit there. And this one. So, even when you look at this and you think, oh, it is quite intricate, there's a lot going on, and it doesn't quite give it the feel yet. It's only when you put that shading in that you suddenly find that it comes to life. We're not quite there yet. We're not far off, but we're not quite there yet. There we go. Putting some of these sections in now. So I'm making that little swirl up a little bit there. A little bit there to colour. Let's just like He says, well, it's easy to do that swirl, but you see, I always like to put my dot in. It sort of fixes me to that place, and helps me just to sort of take stock of what it is I'm going to do. It's almost like a preparation, isn't it? Dot in. There we go. Alright, let's have a look at that one then. Okay. So far, so good. Now, let's have a think about this, because we've got so much going on, as we've said, but it would be nice to actually put something in these as well. So let's go in and let's just add in a line, one there. So now I'm going to have one either side here, one there, look, one there, and one there. Alright, and I think just because I can, I'm going to fill in those lines there. That one. That one. So if you have a thicker pen to hand, please feel free to use it. But I'm just going to stick with my essentials just right now. And in there. I'm going to do the same with this one. So just keep it narrow. You don't need to go too wide. There we go. So I'm putting my lines in first, and then going in. Now again, you know, we've said before, if you're doing quite a lot of the black work, just relax with your pen a bit. No need to press on. Just take it easy. And let the pen do all the work. So just relax your hand a little bit. Okay, got a bit on my board there. There we go. Just working it through there. And the next one. Just nice and gradual. There we go. Oh, almost gone off the page there. Yeah, you can see the difference, look. Yeah. Okay, next one. Nice thin line. I'll colour that one in first. Now you can see now, or some of you might, if you've done all of these, thinking, do you know, when I put this on my journal page, you might see where some of this now can be extended over. I've tried to sort of plan that one in a little bit. So these, imagine coming off and onto your journal page, would look pretty good. There we go. Same with this one. There we go. Almost done. Then in the middle. I think that's a little bit, that's thick enough in the middle there. You've definitely got two spaces, so you could take one off and then one sort of different way. There's lots of possibilities there that you've suddenly got now, putting these extra little bits in. Okay, so let's have a look at that then. There we go. Alright. So far so good. See, that looks a little bit dimensional already, doesn't it? We've not put any colour on or anything yet. Okay. Now we could put another pattern in here, but do you know what, actually I think I'm going to leave it as that, because I think there's plenty going on there, and I think it's time that we put a little bit of colour on, isn't it? Okay, so here we go. Colour wise, I am going to use a white pencil. If you haven't got a white, don't panic, just don't colour in all of your paper when I'll explain that in a little minute. So I've got a white pencil, and I'm going to go in with I'm going to go in with the reds. So there we go, I've got a nice dark red. Then I want something that's a little bit paler. Now you see here I've got two colours on different sides, so I might mess about with them in a minute. But you can see here, there's my next red in. You see it's a bit lighter. And then on the other side, I've got an even lighter red, almost going orange, isn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of orange in as well. There we go. So working on those colours, I've got white, red, a lighter red and an orange. So if I was actually to work it through lightest to dark, I should really do it that way. Okay. My red, however, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to go in with a dark blue pencil as well on that top edge. Okay, so you think now it's going to make a little bit purpley, but it's going to give it a little bit more depth. So you will notice no black. I've not put any black in there at all. When we're using colours, it's nice to just keep it with colours and not worry about putting any black in there. So there's my pencils. Alright, have you got your colours? So it really doesn't matter which ones you use, so just hear that they're going to work really well together because they harmonise. So I know that one's going to run into the other easily. And the white pencil, that's the most important in a sense. If you have got a white pencil, this is the one you start with. If you haven't, please don't panic about it. So what I'm going to do, I'm straight in at the middle and I'm going to put in just a little bit of white. Now I know you won't see it, but if you do it, and I'm not on the edge, see, I'm just sort of here, just added a little bit in, and that is just going to give you an indication as to where your light's going to be. Okay. So I'm going in with my next colour now, my orange, and I'm ever so lightly just going to rub around, and I can feel that resist where that white is. And if you haven't got a white pencil, you've got to imagine that your white's there and just give it a little bit of light. You see I've got a lot more orange this side than this side, you see, just a little bit there. Okay. And then I'm going in with my red. This is my lightest red, and again just ever so lightly I'm just going to add in some of that. Let's see, a little bit more up here this time. But I know it doesn't look like anything at all yet, but that's okay. Darkest red. So this time I'm going to fill in just around the gap. So at the moment I've just sort of set out my colours as to where they're going to go. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm going to go in. You notice that I'm actually now holding it quite close, and I'm going to press on, and I'm going to make sure that that red's really noticeable now, a little bit up there as well. Okay, I've not gone in all the way, I've just added a little bit. There's more this side than this side. So then going in with my next red down, my lightest red, and I'm going to go over the top of that darker red and start to bring it out closer towards that lighter colour now. You see, a little bit there. I'm even going to go round there now, adding those in. But I've still got this gap in the middle. In with my orange pencil, and then again over the top of those colours, and I'm pressing on now. I'm going to come round, bringing it in, so I've got that little gap. Now here I'm just going to lighten off a little bit and just sort of swirl around the edge a little bit. Okay, and in with my white pencil, and then I'm going to go in and I'm pressing on a little bit now, and I'm just going to use it to sort of blend in that area. Okay. Alright, now you notice I've not used that blue yet. This is the time now I'm going to use the blue. So working just on this bottom edge, so opposite my light source, I'm going to go in and I'm going to press on. I'm going to add in that blue just at that bottom edge there, you see. Okay, touch up there and just a little bit on that end. Alright, so then back in with my dark red. Now I appreciate not everybody's going to be able to sort of do this at the same time as me, so please just be patient, watch it back in a little while and just check it again and see what I did. And it's working. See, I've gone back to my lightest red now, from those darks now, back into the light. So I'm building up the colour each time. There we go. And then in with that white there. So let's have a look at that from a distance. Okay. See there, I can see there that it just needs a little bit more red. So that's giving us our centerpiece. Look at that. All right. Whew. Okay. Moving on a little bit then. Now I'm not going to colour every single section, and I like it where you have a mix of colour and the pencil and the shading as we usually do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now how I would shade one of the other sections in. So I'm going to start again. I'm actually going to start from the darkest, so my darkest red, and I'm going to work in, let's work on this bigger section here so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, Samantha pencils. I must admit I'm a polychromo girl, and I do like my polychromes from Faber-Castell. These ones are nice as well though, these blend lovely, and these are the chameleon pencils. But do you know what, it's a case, I think, that you try and you go with, one, your budget, and two, with whatever you like. Everybody's got a preference, so if you have the opportunity to try a few different ones, do it. But go with whatever you've got at the minute. Okay. So you can see there I've used the dark red and I've gone here and here, so either side, because I want my light to be here. And then I'm coming in with my lightest red and I'm working over the top of this one and then out onto the white of the paper. And then the same from this side. Okay, I am pressing on quite a bit here, so it's a little bit different than when I did the gem in the middle, because I'm working from the dark to the light. See, back in now with my orange. So I don't want too much orange there because I want a little bit of a light source up here. There we go. So I'm working over the last one and then pulling it in to the centre there. So here, if you've got a white pencil, you can then go in and you can sort of, you see, almost burnish out and work the two together. If you haven't got a white pencil, then just use your orange and just fade it out so it's very light, and it gets lighter and lighter, and then you just leave a little white gap. Okay, you can see as before, I've not used that dark colour yet because I'm going to go back in now and I put that in at the end and just add a touch either side. Back in with the dark. Okay, so that's how I would colour those sections, and I'm not going to colour all of them in because we would be here for like 3 hours, so I'm just going to do sections so you can see where you're going with it. So you can see dark here and light in this section here. So working with these a little bit like the gems, so same sort of thing. I like to put my white in so I know where I'm working, so I would sort of work in the same area in all of them. And then because it's quite a small area, I'm going to start with my darkest colour. Let's go a little bit larger so you can see it, and then I'm going to sort of again give it a little bit of that kind of a smirk in that bottom area and a little bit on the top. Then in with my lightest red. You see I'm sort of switching now to my sort of swirly type of effects. It's called scumbling actually, if you want the posh name, scumbling. Then in with my orange, and you see I'm pressing on quite a bit. If you think I'm not getting that blend, then don't press on, just do it lightly and build it up like I did with the gem. There we go. Add that light, and again you notice that the light source is never right on the end, so always in. You can use alcohol markers, Julia, they'd work. Just don't go too close to the edge and don't add too much on, because if you're not careful, it will bleed a bit on cartridge paper. But yeah, you can. Okay, so you can see there where that's working. And working on these sections here. Now this time your white is going to be straight down the centre, so here. Okay, and then starting with my darkest red, I'm going to go in and I'm going to add there and there. Okay, so I do the same on, oh, let's do it, I'll do the same on this one as I'm going. There we go. Alright, and then working down into my lightest red. So I've not changed pencils at all, I'm using exactly the same colours. If you wanted to, you could go in with as many as you want, it's absolutely fine. But I just thought for ease, so you can see where I'm going, I'll stick with the same colours. Then in with my orange, and you see I'm working over the top of those reds and then coming out the orange. But I really do need that gap. You see here, I've not got any white pencil at all, I've left a white gap. It's going a little bit lighter. And then here I have got white pencil, you'll see the difference. I can feel where the resistance is to it. So it's sort of a bit of like a stopper almost. There we go. And then with the white pencil, so I go in and add a little bit to it. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so you can see this is with the white pencil and this is without, so you can get very similar effect. I think sometimes it just makes it easier to have the white there. And a little bit of blue on the top corner there. Okay, so what you're after is this light and shade. Alright, so far so good. So in terms of colour now, what I would probably add some colour to this one here. This one, maybe, or yeah, maybe this one. So don't worry about actually filling separately in all those little sections. Just go over it as though it was the same as the top one, working from light to dark. There we go. Just in sections. See, I'm back into my orange now. Then into my white. And then back in with that blue in there. Okay, let's have a look at that. So you can see where you've actually got sections of it. So here I would go in with my pencil and just add in some graphite here and here, here and here, and then here I would go around the outside edge. Putting some on there. This one here, let's add in a little bit in there. See, this sort of section here, you can now go in and you can extend it and do whatever you want to do with it. So if you want to go in and add a little bit to each of those tangled patterns, then that's fine. If you want to treat it as a whole shape, that's fine too. Or if you want to go round the outline like I've done here, gives you a little bit of an idea, doesn't it? So I know that gives you a lot more work than just an hour I was tangling today, but I was asked about doing colour, and I just think it's a really nice one to start bringing some of your work out. So you can see there I'm just going back in and just touching around the edge. Now this is the only thing with using coloured pencils, because they're very waxy. If you wanted to go back in and add a pattern or change that tangle in some way, you can't, because it sort of clogs up the nib in your pen, so you can't really go back and do anything. So please be sure and be happy with what it is you've done before you go over with the pencils. So that gives you an idea there of how you can actually add your colour, and you can imagine once that's done, it's going to look really, really effective. I have actually done one, and I've put it on my journal page so you can see where I'm going with it, but I was aware that we wouldn't be able to do the whole thing in colour during this session. So you can see here, here's my pattern. Best hour reader. There we go. So you can see I've actually gone in the centre here, and I've done exactly the same as I did with the other colours, but notice I've just added a touch of white pen just along there, just to give it a little bit of an accent. But with my colours, I've done exactly the same as we've done today. You can see here I've gone from dark to light and left a little white gap in the middle, same this way. And then see here's some of the pencil coming in, and then same on these ones. Here I've chosen to do the plain one and this pattern here. And then of course, so the light source. What I would do, if you've got a light source here, it doesn't really matter, wherever, I would go opposite to where it was to put your little white reflection, because you've got your light and this is just almost a reflection from it. So always go opposite. So if it was here, I'd put my white there. So this is be where my light source is, that's where I'd put my white. And don't try and read too much into it. If you're not quite sure and you think, oh, do you know what, I don't like that, it's not too good, with a white pen you can see, look, it comes off. So don't stress over it. You see, look, it comes off, and then you can put it wherever you want it to be. Alright, so just a quick look at the page. It's obviously a work in progress because there's other bits to do yet. You can see there where I've started with it, and just like we talked about with these swirls, you can see it started and it's sort of come off onto the page, and it's began to sort of filter out and give me a bit of a pattern. So where we did swirls here, you can see that I did little bubbles, and then I've continued those bubbles out onto the page. So that's really your next job. So going from this and creating your patterns in the first place to actually adding a bit of colour, putting some of the pencil in still just to keep it in with that tradition, and then creating something like that. And don't forget your initials, of course. My initials are there. So hopefully that's given you enough to sort of get you going, or at least keep you going till Wednesday. I'm gonna go back to just using pencil on Wednesday, just to make life a little bit easier, because I think you've had enough to colour. But I am going to use my circular stencil, which is this one. If you haven't got the stencil, please don't worry about it. Just find yourself something that's a similar size to your tile. Oh, if I do it on a plain one, you might see it a bit better. Here we go. Similar size to your tile. And if you think about the width of this here, if I just find my pen, it's just slightly wider maybe, or as wide as my pen. So even if you were to draw it, find something round to draw around. That's all you need. So it's going to be that pen, pencil, torchon, just as normal. I hope that's been useful for you, and I hope it's not sort of scared you any putting that colour on. It's exactly the same as the pencil, we just use a few more of them, that's all. So give it a go, try it, and just see what you come up with. And please keep sending me some pictures so I can actually make up some larger mosaic type shapes from all that we're doing. I've said for the first 6, the first 4 by Wednesday. I'm going to put it all together late Wednesday afternoon. So if you can send me pictures before then to get them sort of included, that'd be really, really good. Thank you. Thank you ever so much for watching. And yeah, please finish off what you're doing and then send me some pictures. I'd love to see them. So have fun with it. Try it in different colours and see what happens. All right, everybody take care, and I will see you Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So same as before. All right, see you then. Have fun. Bye.